I don't want to let you down. Have you ever thought that to yourself and you place this high expectation and pressure upon yourself that just prevents you from actually performing well? This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. Today, I'm going to talk to you about high expectations and the belief that you're going to let someone down. Because when you think you're going to let somebody down, you will let somebody down. You will become the product of your own belief. Now, let me explain that even more. Whatever you focus on, that's where your energy is going to go. That's what your mind is going to start to create the conceptual reality, which will then begin to manifest as actions in your life. That's how you create the circumstance with believing that. You'll sabotage yourself, in other words. Now, where does that belief come from? It usually comes from high expectations. When you have high expectations, or let's say a lot of expectation is placed upon you, then you realize you got to step up to the plate. You got to put the pedal to the metal. You've got to rein in that horse. You've got to take charge. And when that responsibility hits your shoulders, maybe it's hitting you for the first time and you're new at it, so you have some degree of imposter syndrome, you have some self-doubt and some insecurities, and you may realize maybe you don't know all that there is to know to fulfill this position, but you always have the ability to learn. And that's really what this is all about. Because let's say marriage. I was never married. I can't really speak from that point of view, but have a thing or two because I have a few friends that are married and know people who are divorced. That's a lot of pressure. And it's not a lot of pressure if you're committed. But when you really think about it, that fear that couples have who are getting engaged, it comes from imposter syndrome. Or there's also called the Peter principle. When you're promoted into work into a position of which you know nothing about, and then you're afraid to be found out, or you're offered a position and you realize you don't know enough to fulfill that position, so you turn it down. It's because of the imposter syndrome and insecurity, which is really a lack of a growth mindset. Because when you hit a wall or hit a certain potential wall where you think you have gone as far as you can, that you have learned all that you can, and this is the highest level of performance you can deliver, that your skills are at its peak. Your ability to love is at its peak. You can love no more, you can do no more, you have given it all. It usually comes from a state of being tired. If you're tired, whether it's from emotional stress or just physical labor, physical time, they usually go hand in hand. And when you feel exhausted, your mind, you don't think clearly. You feel burnt out. And you lose a sense of drive and motivation. That's where the I don't want to let you down belief starts to set in. That's when you believe you are at your wit's end, you have exhausted all of your resources, that you can't learn anything more. It's because you're tired. That's when you need to take a break, take a step back, take a staycation, re-energize and recharge, recenter yourself. And that's how you really get back into the groove, if you will. You start believing in yourself again, believing in the possibility, because it requires commitment. It's harder to commit to action when you're tired. It's easier to commit to action when you're full of energy. And what gives you a sense of full of energy is hope. Hope in a brighter future. Hope in a better outcome. And what creates that is the belief in the conception. If you cannot conceive and believe, then you will not experience. The mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve, because it must exist in your mind in order to become a reality in your life. That's what you have to work on. And you may not be in that state of possibility. You may be stuck in poverty consciousness temporarily because you're tired. Your mind is stressed. You have a lot to think about. You need to organize your thoughts. You need to prioritize. Have something tangible to look at. Now, I like the Eisenhower matrix. You look at the three most important things you got to do for the day. There's only about 2 or 3. Most people have a list of 10, but there's actually only 3. And then the ones that you need to get done that are important but not urgent, you delegate out. The ones that are urgent and not important, well, that's when you schedule it. So you basically create a prioritization, you delegate, and you schedule all the things you need to do. And when you have that perspective, things seem more manageable. And when things seem more manageable, it's going to take the stress off your mind and give you a sense of ease. And when you have that sense of ease, then you can have some clarity and some inner peace, and then make decisions, and then get a different perspective on the situation. And you can determine whether or not how ready you are, how much energy you have, or how much time you have to devote to a new endeavor. So then you can put yourself into the training or learning new skills or talking to the right people so you can fulfill those obligations. In any kind of contractual agreement, whether it's employment, whether it's marriage, whether it is simply a verbal agreement, when you don't want to let somebody down, it's because you respect them. When you respect somebody, you don't want to disappoint because they're important to you. And you should say that to them. Hey, listen, you're really important to me. I respect you. I hold you in high regard. The last thing I want to do is let you down. So this is what I'm going to need. And then state what you need from them. If you want me to fulfill this, this is what I need from you. When someone puts you in a contractual agreement with them, they also have their end to uphold. And you can ask for things. If it's a relationship, I heard Grant Cardone, he talked about when he first got married. He said, look, I'll give you everything you want. I'll provide for you. I'm going to give you a great life. But there's one thing I can never give to you is my best of who I am, my work. I'm not going to compromise my work, because if I compromise my work, I can't give to you what you need and what you want. And I'm never going to lower my performance to satisfy you. And that's something that, you have to give back to me in order for me to give to you. There is a mutual agreement. With an employee, you're getting a new position. Say, I'll be more than happy to take this job, but this is what I'm going to need from you. When you know that you're probably going to enter into something, above your pay grade, and now you're introduced to that position because somebody believes in you. But deep down inside, you have imposter syndrome, and there could be some part of you that truly doesn't know. You ask for training. Say, look, I'm going to need some mentoring on this position. Can I come to you for advice? You create an agreement. You ask for something in return to ensure that you don't let them down. And through 6 months, 1 year into it, you're feeling like you're in over your head. You talk to them. You say, look, I am overwhelmed. I need an assistant to get this done. You want me to get this done? We need to hire some temp guy just for the next 6 months. And once we get past this hurdle, I'm free and clear. You create that agreement. In other words, you know what you need, you know what you want, and you ask for it. This is where self-assertion comes in. Some people have a problem with self-assertiveness. I went to self-assertive training class a long time ago. Somewhere along the line, I lost my confidence. I didn't know how to ask for what I need. Had a lot of inner doubt and inner shame going on. And that class kind of woke me up to, wait a second, if I'm thirsty, I can ask for a glass of water. I can say, excuse me, online. I can stand up for myself in a constructive manner. Hey, I was here first. You're cutting in front of me. Please excuse me. Things of that nature. Hey, I haven't gotten my order yet. It's been about 45 minutes. I can tell you're busy, but can I find out what's going on? Otherwise, I'm going to go somewhere else because I'm really hungry. Can I at least get some appetizers on the house? You learn how to ask for things, not in a rude, obnoxious, arrogant, self-entitled way. You just ask for it matter of fact. And that usually remedies the situation. And it'll tell your boss or the higher ups, or even if you're married, it tells your significant other, hey, you know what? This person stands up for themselves. They're a real man or they're an adult. Only children become needy. And there's plenty of man children out there and women children out there. And I'm not here to rag on them, but, a sense of maturity, that is. When you have character, you don't have a problem asking for something, and it's a sign of leadership. Because a leader is going to delegate. A leader is going to ask for help and assign certain tasks and duties to the appropriate person. That's what a leader does. Whether you're a general in the army and assigning work to your colonels and captains and they're assigning to your troops, or you're a leader of a company, or you're a leader of a family. When you take charge, you have your work cut out for you, clear. You know exactly what needs to get done. The results, if that work is executed successfully, what the results will produce and how it intermingles with other workflow. So when you get involved in a situation where you're hired and you feel that, you may let them down, there's a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome, you're feeling a lot of uncertainty, you learn to ask for what you need so you can get the job done. And more than 99.9% of the time, the higher-ups will provide that for you. So that's how you handle that self-doubt. Because it is just self-doubt. When you walk around doubting yourself, the quality of your work tends to go downhill because a certain part of you will give up. You may even believe, why bother trying? I can't do it anyway. I'm not good at it. I told them I'm not good at it. I don't know why they put me in this position. That's just a cop-out. Hold yourself accountable that you are responsible. It doesn't mean it's an at-fault type of responsibility. It means you have the ability to respond and take action. You have the ability to ask for what you want. You have the ability to assess the situation, to determine what is needed in the circumstance, and then determine the kind of work and categorize the work so then you can further delegate that work and know how long it takes for each assignment to get done. When you understand that, that is the sign of, you got the higher position because you deserve that higher position because you know what you're doing. The president has the cabinet. Every king has a counselor. The queen has a set of counselors. Nobody rides the top of them, gets to the top of the mountain alone. Race car drivers don't win races on their own. They have a whole pit behind them. You got to have a team and create teamwork. And that's how, this way you can rely upon them, and then you can all count on one another through agreement. Create agreement, honor your end, assess your own skills, and also understand that you can learn as you go. If you have any questions regarding this matter, this is what I specialize in. I help you find freedom, abundance, and fulfillment so you can experience the life you truly want to live. This is Dr. Spencer Coaches. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave a comment below. My contact information will be in description, and we can set up a complimentary discovery session so I can understand what exactly you're looking to create in your life, what's challenging you, so we can create a solution together to get you where you want to be. Thank you so much for listening. I sure hope that helps.